Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, continuing on with our ACF Ultimate series, specifically back into combat. This episode, we are going to be going over the targeting system. It is a two-part system, and it's important to understand where both parts belong. So I'm going to pull these blueprints over here, and as you can see here in the multi-points target, here is the ATS target point. Here's another point, but only one time is there a targeted widget, and that's okay. You need just one. If you want to have multiple, you can, not a big deal. But as you can see in this example, there is only one, and that greatly helps. And as you can see here, the player also has one for if you're doing player versus player. It's way down here for some reason, but it is what it is. So, as I stated, these are right here, and the points move depending on where you place them. So let me see, because some people make the misconception of moving the targeted widget. You instead want to move this. So if I just put that up way up there, and I hit play, hit target, it's way up there now. That's how the targeting system works. And as you can see, it's moving between them. But, you know, that one's not targeted anything. This is just an example. Let me move this back. All right. So, how all this works for a moving target is actually very simple as well. It's a very common knowledge for Unreal Engine, but for all of you new users, I'm going to share it. So you have this parent socket, but right now this is grayed out, and it's because it's not parented to anything that would have sockets and bones. Now, this first one will not move. It's default. It's going to stay. So you want it to be somewhere that's generally center mass for the target. But for any of the other ones, you wanted to, we target and put this here into the as a child of the mesh. Now you can see we can select this. And now we can select whichever bone we want or whichever socket. And whenever the character moves, this will move. And that really helps when you have a really giant target, say a troll, like we've seen in the examples provided of Pask's game that he's been making for many, many years. So with that, I said this is two-part. This is part one of the ATS target point component. The next one you will find in controllers, ATS targeting. So I went to the very bottom of the ACF Companion Player Controller, and it's called ACF Companion Player Controller because if you have companions, you kind of want this component. Anyways, we'll go over that in a future video. We are going to go over these and everything here. So as you can see, for everything to happen, you pull it out, toggle targeting, on targeting state change, it's casting to the player and updating the rotation mode. So that's what causes the player's rotation to change. Not a big deal. And obviously, we went over this last episode or whatever. You know, you have these events. You can come into the ACF stuff and see what you can do. Not going to beat a dead horse with that. And then for changing targets, Pask has opted with a common design choice, which is having the targets change based off of mouse movement. The other one is like using the mouse wheel when targeting, and it'll sift through the targets. Either way works. You have right search target with input and up search target with input. So you really do things how you want. Next, we're going to go over the settings right here. So input threshold for search. To give an extreme example here, you saw what it was. Let's change you to 1.5. Whoops, sorry. Play, target. It's having a really hard time changing targets. But not as hard as it was before, so I think it's actually between 0 and 1, so let's find out. Oh, that's the problem. With the settings I was messing with, let me change that back. There we go. There we go. You see the twitching. It's struggling to change. So, and that comes from the input threshold. So we change it to 0. Super fast, super sensitive, super easy. Not what you would want. So we're going to go crazy here. I changed it to 50 just because I'm curious. Yeah, now it's not wanting to move at all. So that's what that's for. Change that back to 0.7. The next two are fairly self-explanatory. Max targeting distance, so how far away can you target? And then the max angular distance. So we'll use this character here. Max angular distance. So do you want them to be able to target somebody that's over here when you're not looking at them? Then you would set that up. But it's set to max angular, so it's something like this. And as I said, you can change it as you wish. Next thing, target selected, type, choose lower distance. So, I mean, it literally does what it says. We got two characters right here. Let's see here. Let's do this because I don't want them to just hover towards me like some creepy mannequins. This way they shouldn't start on me. Play. Come over here. Target. It's always going to go to this guy first. That one's closer. So it's always going to go to him first, even if I'm all the way over here. Because this one is still closer. Now, if we choose degree from forward, hit play, we're going to come right here, target. It's now this one. So whichever one is closest to forward. So if I'm right here, it's always going to be closest to forward. That's how that works. Very simple, very self-explanatory, as I said. These targeting type, so if you're wanting the camera to lock on what you're targeting, do it. If you don't want it to lock, this is a great option as well. And then adjust camera yaw lock, so it will lock left and right, but not up and down. Let me change this back. What was it before? Oh, so that's the, all right, cool. Lock magnetism. So, say compile, save. Get rid of one of these here, because I only need one now. So that's how slowly it's changing its magnetism. As you can see, it greatly adjusts the input thresholds for search, so you would need to manipulate this with the lock magnetism. And now if I change this to 50, This is what it does. It's trying really hard to keep you positioned right there. It's set to 15 by default. Mess with that as you wish. Bottom pitch limit degree, upper pitch limit degree. Limit on camera pitch to avoid gimbal lock. Gimbal lock's not something that you want, but it's really a good way to stop it. A gimbal lock essentially puts you in a forever rotation, and it's not fun when you get stuck dealing with one of those things. So it's there to help. Now, objects to query. So what can you target? Right now, it is set to pawn. So you can add whatever you want. So if you want there to be certain statues that you can lock onto because you have to destroy it in order to open some secret chamber, I don't know, then you can have that be locked on if you want. Especially if it's a statue that once you hit it once, it starts bouncing around and starts to be really hard to hit. Now, the target filters, there isn't one here. If I'd realized that, I would have left the other one open. And I also didn't leave it open here. So let's go back to the Ultimate Player Controller right here. You can set up filters. So is my enemy BP? If I come in here, type is my enemy filter BP. This right here. So you can set up filter rules to your liking to fit what is needed. And you put it in the function is targetable, is actor targetable. So the owner, which is you, and the target, which in this case is the ACF character, and then is my enemy. So this means it won't lock on to a companion. It'll only, or to a neutral NPC. Only those that are enemy characters. So if you wanted to also make it to where you only wanted them to, you to be able to target creatures that you are in combat with, so you don't accidentally lock onto somebody way off in the distance that it hasn't started, joined in the fight, then you can make that filter. The filter type is ATS targeting filter. And now that I see that, I need to add it to, not sure what, because that is in the plugins. I need to add that to these right here, to this stuff right here for combat, because that is important to be able to easily access. So I've written that down to add that to the plugin. So that is the targeting system. That is the targeting system in a very decent nutshell. It's very simple, very elegant, very powerful tool. And sorry, one thing that I forgot to point out, stop targeting if out of sight and check line sight. Also very good if you don't want to target something that you can't see at all. And then if it leaves your sight, stop targeting it. Fantastic stuff. Just like everything else here, it works as explained. Anything that I felt needed to be explained, I did. So again, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you would like to support me, you can always buy me a coffee or join me on Patreon. Have a great day.